Hello, it's time for another Core Connection with Corey G. What's up, everybody? Who is around? Join me and tell me where you are and interact with me. It's much more fun when this is a dialogue. So, this evening's topic is to change the system, start with you. And where this is coming from is today at one of the classes I was teaching at the university, we were talking about sort of internalizing stereotypes and how they create a self-fulfilling prophecy, and how it starts with the system, which a lot, the university, one of the universities I teach at is a pretty social justice oriented university. And so there was a lot of pushback on, this is a systemic system and I don't know if it's ever going to change. And so it got me thinking about, how do we change the system? And I'm not even only talking about institutions, I'm talking about our systems, because we do the same thing with ourselves. We think, it's my family system, it's my bodily system, it's societal systems. And how do I change those things? Everything's working against me, and it's all been, this way for years and years and years, and I don't know if it's ever going to change. And really the key to any change on any level in any system is you. And so I'm going to share thoughts on how you can start to do that right away. So the thing to think about, and this is what came to me when we were having this discussion in class, is any system that we have and are operating within is a system we have participated in and agreed to, and at some level have created for ourselves. And so, hi Ted, how's it going? So nice to see you. And so thinking that the system is outside of you and somehow unmanageable and impossible to change and against you is negating the fact that the system was created by humans, and the only thing to change the system is humans. And the only way for you to change a system is to change your system, because you have to change the internal systems first before you can change the external systems. And the cool thing is, this is how it all starts. Once you start to see your system is what you have power over and what you have power to control. Sorry, there's a little fly that caught my attention. So how do you do this? So the first thing to think about is how to change a system. The first thing is kind of this discussion that I touched on that we were having in class, is to let go of the idea that it's impossible and it's too big and it's always been this way, and that anything and anyone outside of you can manage you and your power and your ability to change what it is that you desire to change. And so really what it is at a core level, in the most simple terms, is eradicating victim mentality. So the idea that everything is against you, it's your DNA, it's your family, it's the religious institutions, it's the educational systems, it's the government, it's politics, it's your body's working against you. Anything that you feel like is working against you, that you are giving your power to and letting it manage your power and your emotional state, is operating as a victim. Because you're basically saying that you don't have control and you don't have the power to make the change. And anything that's happening outside of you is a reflection of what's happening inside of you. And the only thing that you have power over is you and what's going on inside of you and how you're responding to what's happening outside of you, and knowing you can change what's happening outside of you by changing what's inside of you. And so how you can start to do this is to check your language and notice anytime you make excuses at all for anything ever. And this can be disguised as reasons. For example, I was born that way, this runs in my family, it's the economy, it's, this is what my religion lets me do or doesn't let me do. This is, the culture that I was brought up in, and these are the rules and norms that I have to follow. So all of that is operating as a victim, because you're placing your state of being basically in the hands of something else. And so once you can start to notice that and change that language so that you're eradicating any element of victim mentality in your life, that's when you start to take ownership of your state of being, and then you can start changing your systems. You can decide to change your family system. You can decide to change what you believe about what's possible for you. You can stop internalizing any stereotypes that you might have about a group that you're a part of, and counter that and change that and decide you're not going to buy into it. It doesn't work for you, and it doesn't even resonate anymore. So you really are at the point where you're operating almost not like a free agent, but you're operating as if things just, bounce off you. You're not triggered because you're not letting anything get internalized. And so when you do that, you start to see, as you make those changes on the inside, and what happens on the inside, one of the biggest things is you start to treat yourself better. You start to be vigilant with the types of thoughts and beliefs that you are letting even pass through your mind, and the words that you're letting pass through your lips. You are vigilant about the types of activities that you're engaging in, the types of people you're spending time with, the types of information that you're consuming, so that you're breaking any attachment to victim mentality in any way, shape, or form. And most of the time where this happens is in our thoughts and our beliefs. And that's in perpetuating something that we were taught from our family or from society or education or religion. And so it's really becoming to the point where you're holding yourself to a higher level, in that your standards are here, like way up there, for what you believe and what you think, what you say, what you do, how you act, how you interact, the conversations you have, and the way you treat yourself. This is critical. I went to this meeting this morning, and one of the activities we did was so powerful, because what it did was allow you to see how really incredible you are, and how often we forget that, and how easily we default into criticizing ourselves, even to the point of hating ourselves sometimes, thinking that we're worthless and we don't have power to change anything, hiding and holding back and dismissing our desires. And the activity is to see yourself as if you were in the hospital when you were born, and that you got to hold yourself and look at yourself. And what would you say to yourself as a newborn? Would you say any of those awful things that we normally say to ourselves about maybe not being good enough, or not being powerful enough, or the world being against you, or your dreams aren't valid? Of course not. We would say your dreams are amazing, and we want the best for you, and we believe in you, and we love you without question. And that's what we need to internalize for ourselves, because once we have that, there is no room for for hatred or anger or abuse of yourself or abuse of others, because you're operating from a completely different system. And that is the system with which change is possible. And so it's really being that agent of change and being that example for others, and inviting others to see they also have the power to make the change within the system, if they start with their internal system. And that's the only system they really have power over. And once they change that system, then changing external systems is easy. So just to reiterate, check yourself and see where in your language or thoughts or beliefs or interactions you're playing the victim. Take 100% responsibility for every area of your life, and take accountability for what you are doing, and really be, is call yourself out, but call yourself out with compassion and forgiveness, and then see yourself as if you are holding yourself when you were a newborn and what you would want for yourself, and then make adjustments and act in accordance with what you would tell yourself if you were a child, that you would hold yourself in high regard and respect and adoration and admiration and appreciation. And those are the elevated emotions where all change happens for good, not the low level emotions of hate and anger and despair. Cool? Okay. So if you are in a place where you are ready to eradicate all the ways that you're holding yourself back and hiding and playing small and dismissing your desires, or watching your dreams go by and are really tired of another year going by or years going by where You're not living the life you love and doing the work you love and are ready to really contribute in the way that you are meant to contribute, and it's no longer negotiable, please reach out to me. I would love to talk to you more about what that looks like to work with me and really to start to quantum leap your life, because it is possible to quantum leap your life, and it is possible to make those internal changes so significant that everything in your external world changes to reflect that. And that's the way you change the system. Cool. Are there any questions, my friends? Oh, it says 2 comments, but I don't see them. Oh, yay. Hi. Yes, the victim mentality is a showstopper. And unfortunately, it is prevalent and I would say insidious in the US in particular. And so when you're surrounded by it, and especially within your family system, it takes a huge commitment and a huge source of strength and courage to start to reverse it, which is why it's definitely helpful to have someone in your court working with you as you start to make those changes, because it is sometimes you're going to get a little bit of, not flashback, what do you call it? You're going to get people resisting your changes because they don't want to change. And so it's having the strength to know you're going to make the change no matter what, because you're no longer available for anything else. So, and again, that takes tremendous courage, but it is the most worthwhile work you will ever do, I promise you. All right, cool. Thank you for joining me for another Core Connection, and I will see you all again soon.